When Pokémon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire were released on the Nintendo 3DS more than a decade after the original Hoenn games, fans were treated to more than just updated visuals and expanded mechanics like Mega Evolution. Among the biggest surprises was an entirely new storyline, the Delta episode, which introduced players to a mysterious new character, Zinnia. Though Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire chose not to include most content from Pokémon Emerald, they introduced something unique with Zinnia, a complex character deeply connected to Hoenn's ancient past and the legendary Pokémon Rayquaza, the Draconid people, and the myth of Rayquaza. Zinnia hails from a long-forgotten group known as the Draconid people, descendants of ancient dragon-type trainers. Their origins trace back to the Meteor Falls region in Hoenn, a land scarred by ancient cosmic events. According to legend, a shower of powerful meteors once rained down upon Hoenn, triggering the emergence of primal Groudon and Kyogre. Their devastating battle threatened to tear the region apart until Rayquaza descended from the sky to restore balance. The Draconids began worshipping Rayquaza as their protector, calling it the Dragon Lord, and built the towering Sky Pillar as a sacred site to reach out to it. When danger returned in the form of another apocalyptic meteor, Grand Meteor Delta, the Draconid clan once again turned to Rayquaza, using a mysterious rainbow stone to call upon it for salvation. This stone allowed Rayquaza to take on a new form, Mega Rayquaza. Zinnia's role in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. In the Delta episode, Zinnia is introduced as a rogue figure who initially appears as a Team Magma or Aqua Grunt, depending on the game version. However, it's quickly revealed she was undercover, attempting to provoke the return of Groudon or Kyogre as a way to awaken Rayquaza and prepare for the impending meteor threat. Zinnia is not just a wandering trainer, she's the current Lorekeeper of the Draconids, tasked with preserving their traditions and guarding the truth about Rayquaza. She travels across Hoenn accompanied by her loyal Whismur, Aster, stealing keystones and meteorite shards necessary to summon Rayquaza. Zinnia also directly opposes the Moss Deep Space Center's plan to divert the meteor through a wormhole. She fears the consequences of such an action on other dimensions and eventually destroys their machine, hoping instead to summon Rayquaza and destroy the meteor outright. Eventually, the player faces Zinnia atop Sky Pillar. After a heartfelt explanation of her people's history and a final battle, Zinnia summons Rayquaza, but it's the player's special meteorite, containing the necessary DNA resonance, that triggers Mega Evolution. With Rayquaza under their command, the player takes to the skies and obliterates Grand Meteor Delta, ending the threat once and for all. Afterward, Zinnia's duty as Lorekeeper is fulfilled. Encouraged by her grandmother, she chooses to find her own path, leaving behind a legacy of both redemption and sacrifice. Zinnia's story in the Pokémon Evolutions anime. Zinnia's character was further explored in Pokémon Evolutions, in the episode The Wish. This animated short reveals more about her past, her bond with Aster, and her unrelenting determination to honor her people. Through powerful visuals and emotional storytelling, the episode deepens our understanding of her inner turmoil and personal losses. The manga version, a darker turn for Zinnia. In the Pokémon Adventures manga, Zinnia's story takes a more tragic direction. Set during the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire arc, this version shows her mourning the loss of her friend Aster, the previous Lorekeeper, who was killed during an ill-fated attempt by Devon Corp to capture Rayquaza. Driven by grief and revenge, Zinnia vows to stop the corporations behind the failed experiments. As the meteor approaches, she prepares for a one-way mission to space alongside Rayquaza. However, before she can fulfill her plan, she collapses from injuries inflicted earlier by Rayquaza. The trio of Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald eventually take up the mission, but Zinnia's story remains a somber tale of unfulfilled duty, loss, and the burden of ancient legacy. Final thoughts. Zinnia stands out as one of the most complex characters in the Pokémon franchise. From her mysterious origins and tragic motivations to her role in saving Hoenn from cosmic disaster, her story adds emotional depth and lore richness to the Pokémon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire remakes. Whether through the games, manga, or animated specials, Zinnia's journey is one of loss, legacy, and ultimately, self-discovery, making her one of the most memorable additions to modern Pokémon storytelling.